This person, who is wandering in the maximum security prison in Mexico, is not just any ordinary man. He is the world's biggest and most dangerous drug smuggler, El Chapo. Special CCTV cameras have been installed in his cell to keep a 24-hour watch on him. His cell has neither a skylight nor a window. There is only a shower area in one corner. The interesting part is that despite such security and vigilance, El Chapo walks towards the shower area and then disappears from the sight of the security staff. Half an hour later, when the staff became suspicious and entered the cell, the world's biggest drug smuggler had escaped. Where did he go, and how did he manage to escape? Let's take a look at the life of El Chapo and his escape in this video by Fusion Arc. Welcome back once again. Born in 1957 in a small town in Mexico, La Tuna, El Chapo's real name is Joaquin Guzman. But later, he started calling himself El Chapo. His habit of drug trafficking was inherited. His father, who was a small-time drug dealer, kicked him out of the house at an early age. El Chapo had no means of livelihood, and when he couldn't find any, he too began selling drugs. At just 15 years old, he started cultivating drugs himself. He chose isolated areas for himself and began cultivating marijuana there. Gradually, his drug trading grew to the point where major drug dealers in Mexico wanted to include him in their gangs. In the 1970s, he joined a drug trafficking gang named El Güero Palma. In this gang, he supervised drug smuggling. He was so strict in his work that whenever a delivery was late or there was even a small mistake, he would kill the dealer. In 1980, he joined the gang of the most famous drug dealer of that time, Pedro Aviles. This gang was the largest drug trafficking gang in Mexico. El Chapo was also given the responsibility of logistics and drug shipments in this gang. His job was to keep an eye on drugs coming from Colombia to Mexico. But in 1989, the gang's leader, Aviles, was caught by agencies, and the gang disbanded. Taking advantage of the opportunity, El Chapo formed his own gang, which he named the Sinaloa Cartel. Now, drugs were being smuggled into America through two routes. Most of the drugs came through the Caribbean route, and the second route was the Mexican borders. The American agencies were focusing all their attention on the Caribbean, and many drug dealers and gangs had been caught. El Chapo took advantage of this and, using different channels, started smuggling drugs into the USA. He cultivated many drugs, including methamphetamine, heroin, ecstasy, cocaine, and marijuana, which gave him a lot of profit, so he focused more on these drugs. But smuggling drugs into the USA was not that easy, and for this, he used a lot of cunning tactics. Initially, he smuggled drugs like cocaine, which didn't have a strong smell, hidden in fire extinguishers, chili pepper cans, or car rims, which even drug-sniffing dogs could not detect. However, the problem was that other drugs besides cocaine could not be smuggled this way. Therefore, he adopted a method that became his trademark, and that was tunnels. He invested millions of dollars, hired experts, and built tunnels underground that had complete electricity and ventilation systems. Through these tunnels, he started smuggling drugs into the USA. In 1990, the officers of the Federal Bureau of Investigation were stunned when they discovered El Chapo's first tunnel. The tunnel was 300 feet long and had a complete electricity setup. The tunnel led to a house, which used to be El Chapo's safe house, and in case of emergency, he could escape through this tunnel. El Chapo knew all the rules of this business, so despite several attempts, he was never caught. In November 2010, another tunnel was discovered in Otay Mesa, which had the same facilities, but it also had a rail system on the ground, which was used to remove debris during construction and later transport drugs. In 2012, another tunnel was found in Tijuana, and again in 2013 in Otay Mesa. Given his remarkable skills, El Chapo and his gang began to be called the King of Tunnels. He built his tunnels so deep that even ground-penetrating radar machines could not detect them, and he cleverly hid the entrance of the tunnels, such as under bathtubs or toilets. Before constructing tunnels, he chose the location very carefully. He mostly planned his smuggling operations near the US-Mexico border at Otay Mesa in California. He chose Otay Mesa for three reasons. First, Otay Mesa is close to two major transport hubs, Tijuana and San Diego, which made it very easy to transport drugs to these hubs due to their accessibility. Second, it is an industrial area with many factories, and the heavy machinery and traffic noise in the factories made it easier to dig tunnels because the noise of digging was drowned out by the noise of the factories. Third, the soil in this city is soft on one side due to the sea, which makes it easy to dig, while on the other side, there are mountains that provide strength to the soft soil, making it ideal for tunneling and preventing its collapse. Finally, on June 19, 1993, Mexican authorities captured El Chapo and sentenced him to 20 years in prison. But even the prison became his office. He bribed the jail staff to get all kinds of facilities and arranged business meetings to keep his operations running. In 2001, the Supreme Court of Mexico made a decision that made the prisoner exchange process easier between the United States and Mexico. El Chapo knew that due to drug smuggling in the USA, the US government would eventually have him extradited, and escaping from there would not be easy. Therefore, for the first time, he planned to escape from the Mexican jail. He bribed the jail guards with $200,000 and escaped by hiding in a laundry basket. For the next 13 years, he continued his tunnel and drug trade and other crimes without getting caught, keeping both the US and Mexican governments on their toes. However, after 13 years of effort, Mexican agencies finally found his exact location and raided his house. Even this time, he had made arrangements for his escape. He entered a secret tunnel under the bathtub in the bathroom, but the authorities did not let him go far and finally caught him once again. This time, he was sent to Mexico's most secure jail, Altiplano Maximum Security Prison, and kept under strict surveillance. But just a year later, on the night of July 11, 2015, while he was walking in his cell, he was last seen near the shower area at 8:50 p.m. In his cell, only the shower area was hidden from the camera's view. About half an hour later, when he was not seen on the camera, the lockup was opened to inspect the cell. By the time the guards went inside, El Chapo had already escaped. He had cleverly enlarged the drain in the shower area to dig a tunnel that connected to a larger tunnel below. This tunnel opened up to a nearby construction site, 1 kilometer away. It was 33 feet underground and 5 feet 7 inches wide, big enough for a person to pass through easily. However, this time, his freedom did not last long. On January 8, 2016, Mexican Marines raided his safe house in Los Mochis again, and after intense fighting, he was captured once again. This time, the American government did not want to take any more risks, so in 2017, the Mexican government handed El Chapo over to the USA, where he is serving his life sentence in a supermax prison in Colorado. But the truth is, no matter how much security there is, the American government is always afraid that El Chapo might escape once again. Hope you enjoyed this video by Fusion Art. Please